Good afternoon. I'm with Donna Jones, the leader of the Portsmouth Council. We're just going to discuss some of the key things that are coming up in the city over the next 12 months. So good afternoon, Donna.
Hello.
I wonder, given that we've just started the new financial year, what do you see as the priorities for the next 12 months for the city?
The number one priority for me is to ensure that the City Council's finances are sustainable, that we can pay for all of the key public services that we need to, and predominantly the biggest pressure on public services for any council, particularly an upper tier council like Portsmouth and in our area Hampshire, which is also upper tier, is social care. The cost of social care. It could literally drain almost all of the money that we have. And so, the recruitment of social workers, getting those caseloads down, getting people's assessment packages when they're discharged from hospital, when they need social care for the first time, getting those assessments done quickly so that it's putting less pressure on them, improving their health quicker and supporting their carers and their family is really, really important. Now, the only way that I can spend money on the key priorities for this authority, such as social care, is by going out and generating income. So my number one priority this year, again, is going to be about generating income, because by generating income, I'm making money and protecting the money that I have from cuts to spend on those key areas of the city. But also some of the lovely things that we've got going on, such as, the fact that we're now able to invest new money into the Mountbatten Centre since BH Live took it over at the beginning of March. We've just started the £5 million regeneration of the D-Day project. Now, we have had some money from the Arts Council, I have to be honest, but we are putting City Council money, several £100,000 into that ourselves as well. That would not be possible if we weren't going out and generating money. And one final priority, apart from the ongoing increasing educational attainment, and I'm delighted that we've had one of our secondary schools in Portsmouth, St Edmunds, has become outstanding in the last 12 months. So that is absolutely brilliant. But aside from that, it really is making sure that we keep weekly bin collections. I'm absolutely determined that in a city as densely populated as Portsmouth, whilst many councils, and we've heard one just along the south coast this week, going towards the West Country, has just moved to fortnightly bin collections. In a city like this, with having so many people, almost 200,000 people living in just over a 25 mile square radius, we really, really do need to keep our weekly bin collections. That's something that I'm very committed to.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. When I talk to people in my role as Shaping Director, infrastructure and transportation is two of the most common themes they talk about. So what are the next infrastructure projects we will see in the city, and where do you see the benefits coming from those?
Infrastructure is a big issue for us, twofold. One, getting people around the city as quickly as we possibly can, and two, reducing pollution levels across the city to make sure that the residents and people that come into Portsmouth to work are breathing clean air. Sounds like a fairly straightforward thing, but in some parts of Portsmouth we do have some significant issues with pollution at certain peak times of the day. The next big infrastructure scheme you will see over the next 18 months and in the next couple of months actually, is the planning application being submitted for the rebuilding of the M275, the bottom of the M275. That will mean that as you enter the city, you follow the dockyard wall round in and down towards Gunwharf or towards the city centre. You don't go through all the roundabouts. You won't go past the old ABC cinema. You will no longer drive past the Tricorn site, but instead you'll go the other side of that block of building, the other side of Sainsbury's, and you would drive into the city that way. One, it will reduce people getting into our city, and two, it will also help with economic regeneration and growth because it's quicker to get in and out. It also importantly frees up a whole load of development land, which is where the existing roundabouts are at the top of Commercial Road. And we're looking to sort of build new housing there and really use that space to regenerate the new City Centre North development, which will be reinvigorating Commercial Road, getting some new big anchor stores in there and helping to protect the stores that are already in Commercial Road as well. And we've got a launch event coming up in the next couple of weeks where we've got the regional development managers from all of the big high street names in Commercial Road and the banks as well. We want to make sure they're protected. We're working with the people that own Cascades. They are a pension fund called Orchard Street, and making sure that Delancey, the company that currently have the lease on the Northern Quarter site, Everybody will be involved. We're going to be consulting with people about the future, and we have asked Savills to do that master planning work for us, and we will be unveiling the vision, so to speak. That's what we will be doing, and then getting on with getting the planning application in, done, hopefully passed, so that we can start the preparations for building the new road.
Wow. So if I now change the subject completely, how important to you and your organisation is the City of Culture bid that we're going to put in for 2021?
It's really important, and I'm actually delighted that it's not right upon us, that we're not bidding for 2018 or 2019, because actually by 2021 and beyond, Portsmouth will have had a significant number of new events happening. And when you are awarded something like the City of Culture, it really should be in recognition of some pretty outstanding things that you've done and help you to go on to the next stage and attract more. So over the next 2 or 3 years, by the time hopefully we're awarded the City of Culture for 2021 or beyond, we will have had the arrival of the Queen Elizabeth class carriers, both of them, the HMS Prince Elizabeth this year in the autumn, and the HMS Prince of Wales hopefully at some point in the following 18 months to 2 years. That means the dockyard is going to go from strength to strength. 2,000 new jobs created in the supply chain to look after the carriers. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Sir Ben Ainsley and the British America's Cup team will have won the America's Cup in June in Bermuda, in June 17, bring the Cup back home, and Portsmouth will have hosted the first America's Cup final since 1851, when the Cup very first started in around the Isle of Wight Solent yacht race. And by hosting a final of sporting events such as the America's Cup, one of the oldest sporting events in the world, will really, really put Portsmouth on the international map, particularly through the TV coverage, with over, I think, 50 million people watching it because of the 7 or 8 nations that are anticipated to take part in the next World Series. So that's really important for us in terms of the positioning and going towards that City of Culture bid. The football club haven't been promoted.
Yeah,
very happy with that. So hopefully they're going to go from strength to strength next season. Let's hope that they're in the playoffs or they're automatically promoted for promotion again this time next year. A club that actually, let's be honest, is just getting back to where it always should have been anyway. We've been playing in lower flight football, lower than our justified position, I would argue, yes, for several years now. So Portsmouth Football Club going from strength to strength also really helps us. We've got, as I mentioned, the regeneration of that D-Day Museum. We've got the historic dockyard going from strength to strength with the 100-year anniversary of the ending of World War I next year. From a cultural, from a historical perspective, Portsmouth is very much going to be on the international stage, again with London and Portsmouth being the two main focuses for national commemorations, and we're working with the government at the moment on some of those commemorative things. So I think that museums going from strength to strength, I think the city's vision, our branding, which is why things like the branding of the Emirates Spinnaker Tower and the association with that luxury brand, and having the British America's Cup team here branded and associated to Jaguar Land Rover, those sorts of associations are very important. And the reason that the City of Culture bid is so key for us is because it's about raising aspiration and inspiration for the people that live here, to attract more companies to come here, more people to want to spend their money, which therefore creates and protects jobs, particularly in the tourist industry. So it's very, very important.
Fantastic. And finally, and quite selfishly, and you've made a point there about aspiration. Given Shaping's focus already on its key programmes around business, around the ambassador programme, the destination marketing, skills, and the raising of aspirations, we're also focused, as you know, on our next generation to try and get them involved in the city. What more could my organisation be sort of focused on that we're not already looking at in support of the city's objectives?
I think Shaping is going from strength to strength, and I think we've got such a close working relationship now. We've got some ideas together collectively of how we can take things forward, and Shaping for me is an extension of the eyes and ears and thoughts of the people of Portsmouth. People that sit on your groups, professionals from around the city who volunteer their time to come and give their thoughts to myself, to the LEP, to other key decision makers, to the MPs, is absolutely key. So for me, with Shaping, things like Tipner going from strength to strength, St James's Hospital development, the growth of the university, the developers group on shaping City Centre North and building the road, branding and how we make sure we're maximising on every opportunity to position Portsmouth in trade press, for example, different property journals around, so that investors from London can see when the London market's not giving them the return that they once had, because the property prices are so expensive to acquire at the very outset now, when that overspill is going into the home counties. Portsmouth is getting a bigger slice of the cake than otherwise it would normally get. And I really think that shaping is key, and the volunteers and the thoughts, the people, the voices, the volunteers that you have are absolutely key in positioning Portsmouth, not just here to ourselves, but also on the national stage across the UK, with ministers, with government departments, with investors, with the private sector. It's absolutely key that we almost hunt as a pack, we work as a team to make sure that, because the council can't do it all on our own. Sometimes we think we can, but honestly we can't. So for me, working closer with the professionals that you have across a huge multitude of professions is absolutely key, and I'm very, very grateful for the support that's given to us.
Okay, Donna, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.